How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will? Oh, Rich.
A surprise appearance from Rich.
Oh, wow.
There he is.
And then he just disappears.
And he's gone.
Welcome, everybody, to another week of Story of the Fight. Why are you taking the robe off?
It's unprofessional. It's unprofessional. And, you know, you got to... The mic's in the way, but...
Dude. You got to represent.
For Moreno, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, for Moreno. But we had a big event yesterday. Before we get going into that, though, everybody make sure you follow us on Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. And YouTube, of course. You can follow us on YouTube. Hit the little notification bell.
Yeah, YouTube's the best way probably because of video, right? You can actually see it. Like, we just did an interview with Ghost Pepper. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch that, especially on YouTube because we watched a bunch of street fights with them. And if you're just listening to the audio, you're missing like the majority of the show. But we're also on Instagram and Twitter at Story of the Fight. We have a TikTok now. I don't think there's anything posted on it, but it's there.
Dude, literally. So, like, before we started the show, I asked Rich to catch. I was like, "Hey, do you know how to TikTok?" And I literally just right now started following UFC on TikTok. So we're following the first person.
Hey, things are happening.
And we just got a follower.
Ooh, the UFC followed us back or what?
No, but we have grown our TikTok followings by 100% so far. So
yeah,
we've doubled.
There we go.
We've doubled. Yes.
Hey, we're moving rapidly.
Hey, in all seriousness, though, we've seen the number of subscribers grow on YouTube. We're getting more followers on Instagram as well. So thank you for everybody that's following and joining us for all the fun. We have a blast doing this.
Yeah, it's real good. We're like really close to 250 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're like 3 away, so that'd be cool if we could hit that soon.
That'd be awesome.
Last night.
Last night UFC 270. First pay-per-view of the year.
Mm-hmm.
First pay-per-view at $75. Will, did you pay for it?
No. Did I watch it? Yes.
There we go.
Did I pay for it? No.
I will not incriminate you in any way.
Listen, man, it's not illegal to watch it. It's illegal to share it.
Ooh, I like how you say that. Yes. Making yourself
Listen, man, you can watch whatever you want. Oh, I clicked a link and this was on. I don't know. But if you're distributing it, you're hosting the stream, that's illegal.
That's the game that's going after.
I'm just lost in the internet. I found this link and
innocent bystander.
I'm an innocent bystander. I
didn't pay $75 for it, but I did pay some for it. Yeah. So I paid $25, and that got me a ticket into the movie theater over here, the Cinemark, to watch it on the big screen.
There you go. How many people were there?
If I had a guess, I'd say there's about 20 people there.
Oh, that's a little.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure if it was like a bigger draw, maybe it'd be more full.
Yeah.
So your boy messed up though.
Oh no.
Because I started looking at the tickets early and I was like, dude, I bet you this shit's gonna sell out. So I'm not gonna worry about picking a seat that doesn't have other people around it. I'm just gonna find the best seat, middle, good view.
Yeah.
So your boy picked one where there's a bunch of people around, and
there's a bunch of open spots.
There's a bunch of open spots everywhere.
I mean, you could have just moved.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't want to make it awkward afterwards. I don't want to sit down and look around and be like, well, that was cool, huh, guys? And just stand up and walk off.
Were you just there by yourself?
Yeah, I just went by myself.
Hell yeah.
I just went by myself, dude.
Just silently watching the fights. I get it.
No, but it was cool though, because everybody was cheering, people were like getting crazy in there. Dude, there's some guy that was going nuts on the Moreno fight. Like, he kept on smacking the chair next to him, the seat next to him. And you know how those like leather seats, it was so loud, and then everybody started yelling. Dude, it was
cool.
pretty intense. It was fun.
Cool.
It was like going to Buffalo Wild Wings, but you had no food, and like really not much of an environment, and it was really dark.
Yeah. No one's
But it was a
drunk.
good time.
So the crowd, the energy's not.
Yeah, exactly. There was no violence from the crowd. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Good
card though.
It was a very good card. And we start off with the heavyweights.
Yeah, we start off with the baddest man on the planet.
Francis Ngannou, as he pronounces it. And if he pronounces it that way, that's probably the correct way to pronounce it.
I think
I've never met anybody that mispronounces their own way.
I'm sure they're out there. Didn't Frank Mir? Frank Mir is like on video saying Frank Mir, Frank Mir, like he's all over the place.
Depends on the day, man. You know?
Yeah.
But versus Ciryl Gane.
Yeah.
Dude.
Look at them. Just old buds.
Just like everybody else, I called Gane due to wrestling.
You seen Francis do wrestling?
Oh yeah, Francis. I'm sorry, Francis due to wrestling, just like everybody else.
Yeah, dude, look how shredded Francis was for this fight.
Super shredded.
He came in lean too, like 257. I think he weighed in at.
Okay, the first 2 rounds though, Gane displayed the beautiful footwork in and out. He's working that lead leg of Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, this is what everybody expected, right?
Yep.
I was taking a look at all the different, little polls that everybody was doing on Instagram, and look at that. Everybody was picking Gane. It was like 70%, 65%, 80%. Everybody going Gane, including your boy right here.
Including myself.
And I thought that this was what Gane was going to be able to do all night. Just pick Ngannou apart, right? Pick it. That's how I'm going to pronounce it going forward. Just get used to it. And he was going to be able to maintain distance. Whenever Ngannou got in close, then Ciryl Gane was going to be able to, use that high guard and just circle out really quickly.
He did a really good job of whenever in the first 2 rounds, anytime they would start actually exchanging, right? Because he's on the outside, he's throwing the body kicks, he's throwing the leg kicks, the jab is landing like violently, and then anytime Francis would engage, he would smother him. He wasn't just trying to evade and get caught as he's exiting, right? He would smother him and then break away and get out. He did such a good job of that. It reminded me of when Floyd fought Conor, and every time Conor would start opening up, Floyd would just shoulder into him and just dig in and then make it tight so he couldn't land with extensions, and then he's out. And that's what Ciryl was doing perfectly until Francis was like, I've been learning. Let me just show you something.
Man, there was a couple. Look at that slam, by the way.
Yeah, the slam was beautiful.
The theater went nuts.
Really?
That sounds so funny when I say that. The theater went nuts on this slam, man. Because, dude, it was a big slam, and everybody loves big slams. But when you got the 2 biggest, baddest men on the planet, and this goes down, especially from somebody that D1 Francis.
Yeah, D1 Francis.
Yeah, and Cameroon you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was very impressive. And the thing is, I don't know. There was some technique involved. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, that double leg.
It was
legit.
Good.
Yeah.
The way that he changed levels on it too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just so freakishly strong, man.
Dude,
that
when
no
he
matter
landed that trip,
what Gane did.
Dude, when he landed that trip, I think it was the takedown after the slam. He landed that trip. And also, look at everybody's faces in the background.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone's like, what the fuck? Because nobody expected that.
But I bet you that was everybody that was watching.
Oh, yeah, dude. That was crazy. He caught the kick and just straight up dumped him. And then when he tripped him, he just straight up, he just slammed his face into the mat. It wasn't like a control takedown. Yeah, it wasn't like a control takedown. He just straight face planted him. I was like, dude, that could straight up KO you. Like, that was nasty. And then, he just found the success with it. He showed true, championship fight IQ in this one. The grappling from both of them was a little, beginner almost, right? He landed that scissor sweep on Ciryl in the 5th round. And I was like, dude, that shit should not be working no-gi in the UFC in the title fight. Like, you should not be able to just do a push-pull scissor sweep. That's like some white belt shit. But I was all for it, dude, because it was crazy to see them grappling. when Ciryl got that takedown in the 5th, I was like, oh, he might secure this, because I had going into the 5th, I had it 2-2. I had Ciryl winning the first 2, Francis winning 3 and 4. And I was like, dude, once he got that takedown early in the 5th, I was like, dude, if he can stay on top, control Francis, this is a wrap. This is his belt. Then Francis got that sweep, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was crazy.
It was a lot of fun to watch. It was very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But props to Francis. He said at the end, that he's been working in Extreme Couture, working with his coaches, with Eric, and look,
just putting in work. Just another day at the office.
It's so funny. You mentioned the wizard hip toss, the wizard kick. I notated that because that was really, really bad, and I don't think people realize like just how dangerous that could have been for Gane.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Face down, man.
Yeah, and how much takedown defense do you think Ciryl was doing in camp for this fight? You think he was drilling takedown defense?
Not
every day.
Not
I don't know. It was crazy.
Look at the shot at the end.
I mean,
this kind of lets you know, right? Gane must have known at the end of that 3rd round, like, man,
they knew it was 2-2.
I didn't do enough.
They knew it was 2-2. He got swept and he got controlled. He knew, right?
Is that Johnny Knoxville on the bottom right there with the white hair?
With the shades? Yeah. Yeah, they had the whole Jackass crew there except for Steve-O. Steve-O's always at the fights. It's surprising that he was the only one. But I'm sure Johnny was stoked because, I mean, Francis is in the new Jackass movie, so I'm sure they were all pretty pumped.
Yeah, they're co-star.
Yeah. So Francis reveals torn MCL and damaged ACL coming into this fight. That's why the knee guards. I don't think it had anything to do with him being outstruck in the first 2 rounds. I think that's how their fights are going to be going. If they fight like 10 times, Cyryl's going to be doing that pretty much every fight, no matter how healthy Francis is. Now the question is, what happens in the negotiations? Because I don't know if you noticed, but Dana did not put the belt on Francis.
Oh, I noticed.
He did put the belt on Figueiredo in the fight previous, so he was there, and he did not show up to the post-fight press conference. The level of pettiness is just astronomical. I mean, Dana White, man, like you have a star in Francis, a guy who could knock everybody out and is showing that he's getting better and is adding wrestling. Dude, if Francis just got really good at power double legs, I mean, it's a wrap. Who's defending that?
Can you imagine?
And here you are just being so petty about it all.
Yeah, that was I'm surprised they didn't just give it to Bruce Buffer and say, hey, dude, after you announce it, just hand this over to Francis. You know what I mean?
Toss it at him.
Yeah. There you go, man.
They announce them and you just see the belt come over the fence. Just got the belt in the cage.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. But no, hey, props to Francis and Ngannou because everybody was doubting him. Mustafa
everybody was doubting
Dana
him.
Being a salty little biatch. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he
hey,
was.
And it's not the first time. And you know what?
No.
Not going to be the last.
Well, remember when he didn't put the belt on Stipe? He gave it to Stipe's coach because they were having their contract talks too. Seems like the heavyweights have a little... When's the last time a UFC heavyweight champion was on good terms with Dana? Probably DC, the company man. But
true.
But Stipe, after that, called him out in the post-fight press conference. And I'm sure Dana just didn't want to be involved with any of that drama. But it's like, dude, that's part of the sport. That's your job.
Yeah.
You make way more than all the fighters to do stuff like that.
So if you are, Dana White, you trying to push John Jones versus Ngannou?
Nope. He's going to push John Jones versus Stipe for the interim title.
Ooh.
Because Francis is he's going to be out. He has to get surgery on his knee. And you come on, you think Francis postponed a fight by 1 month and they made an interim belt. You think he's going to be out with an MCL surgery? You think they're going to just sit and wait? Hell no, dude. This is their time to get John in there. John will fight Stipe or some shit for the interim belt. it's horseshit, but like, there's no way they're not gonna let Francis sit out with the belt, with a knee surgery
for an extended period of time.
They wouldn't give him 1 extra month.
Yeah.
They're like,
Poor
let's
guy.
do August. And he said, hey, can we do September? And they're like, Francis doesn't want to fight. We're going to do an interim belt. It's like, dude.
That is so funny.
But now it gets real interesting because the championship clause, right? Him winning this fight automatically extends his contract. Now they have to agree to terms. That's where it gets weird. Did you? I'll bring it up. Did you see Francis's manager's post?
No.
I'll try to find it. He got a text message from someone with a Vegas area code that was not super happy about Francis winning. It's pretty bad.
Really?
I'll try to pull it up. Yeah, it's
like just a random text him.
I don't know if it's a manager or if it's it might be a UFC employee. I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Dana's burner phone.
Dana's burner phone. Yeah, exactly. Because when he left from ESPN, he got a text message from a random Vegas area code that was like, told you we'd like run you into the ground or run you out of ESPN or some shit like that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And this one, let's see.
Same number?
It says, no, I doubt it. It says, let's see. Wait, hold on. Let me just make sure this. All right. These are not my words. It says, let's see who gets the last word after tonight, you dumb black bitch. The fact that Francis would ever listen to you lets you know how much of a dumb piece of shit he is too. After this, you'll go back to selling suits at Nordstrom, you fucking moron. And then 3 middle finger emojis.
What?
Dude.
That is
crazy.
Insane.
That's
Who
crazy.
does that?
Yeah. After someone just wins a heavyweight title fight, like, dude, just fucking chill. And everyone's like, dude, it's probably Dana on another phone. I doubt Dana would say that, but it definitely sounds like some shit Dana would do if he was fucked up.
Oh my God.
I mean, Dana said that Cyborg looked like Wanderlei Silva in heels. Like, that's fucked up, dude.
That is. Now, if you're Ngannou's manager, how do you respond to that? Like afterwards, after the fight, like, oh, dude, I would do something epic. Like I would just take a picture with like Ngannou holding the belt or something and just replying that, or like, I don't know,
wiping the tears with the belt.
Yeah, we would. I wouldn't just be able to leave it at that. I'd be super petty too, and I'd be like, oh, I got to respond to this.
Yeah, Mustafa has an idea. Thinks it was Valentino. Can you imagine?
Oh my God, that's so funny. She's like a hitman, though. Maybe. All right.
Yeah. Bruce Bobtrotter's here. We are definitely going to cover that in a bit once we get through some of these fights. We're going to move on to
great call.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that later.
All right. Well, right now let's move on to Moreno versus Figueiredo.
Real quick. If Francis isn't out for too long and they do Francis versus John Jones, I think John Jones will be the next heavyweight champ.
Yep. I mean, didn't you pick John Jones to hold the belt by the end of the year?
I don't know.
In our predictions episode? I know I did.
Maybe. But I think either her or AJ McKee.
One of the two.
A bunch of randoms. But I think John can outpoint strike Francis just like Ciryl did, and I don't think Francis will have the wrestling advantage against John.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Moreno versus Figueiredo. Before we get going, I just want to say
in this one, huh?
How damn good is the UFC's team? Oh. No, how damn good is the UFC's team? Because you picked it. No. But at their promos, because the promo for Figueiredo versus Moreno, dude, gave me goosebumps just as I'm watching
every once in a while, they knock it out of the park, dude. Carlos Condit versus GSP, Silva versus Weidman 2, both of those promos, dude, I get chills just thinking about the Silva Weidman 2 one. The way they showed the leg break and like, or no, not the leg break, sorry, the when he gets knocked out, and then it's like Weidman like stomping all over the place, all crazy, right? And then it just shows like Anderson just sitting on the ground, like kind of confused and like looking up at Weidman as he's like parading through it in slow motion, and the music's all epic. And I was like, oh,
I'm telling you,
crazy.
man, they do such a good job. Now, going into this, I thought, okay, and I think I texted you and George. I said Figueiredo looks really good at the weigh-ins.
Yeah,
he looks energetic, right? He's on his toes. He was bouncing up and down.
Came in at
different type of
124.
Figueiredo. Came in at 124. And we
Just
know
to
that
prove a point.
Figueiredo has had a tough time making weight. Okay, so I think that played a big part in his last fight. So seeing him go in the way he did, I said, you know what? I hate to do this, but I'm picking Figueiredo going into this. And I love me some Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
And Brandon Moreno, dude, he came out with this intensity, this newfound confidence, like higher level of confidence. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. Man, it was sad for me at the end.
Yeah.
It was sad. What'd you think of the fight, though?
I thought it was a fantastic fight. I thought it was really good. I mean, these guys, right before the fifth round, I was like, these guys can just fight every year. Like, the matchup is so goddamn perfect. It's so perfect. I had Figgy winning rounds 1, 3, and 5.
Same.
The scorecards were all over the place. They were all over the place, but I was literally saying, I think it was a third round, because the first round was very close. If you lean champion bias, you lean Moreno, but I think the takedown separated it in the first round, and I gave it a Figgy. Usually when I'm judging a fight, like watching it, I try to like not let my because like obviously I was rooting for Moreno, but I try not to let that like sway me, right? I try to think like objectively, or like, what do I think the judges are going to score? That way I'm not like let down at the end of the fight if like I don't agree with it, right? I try to look at it through their eyes because they're fucking idiots. But I was like, okay, it was a close round, but Figueiredo took him down, and that's like the separation for me. So I gave it that Figueiredo. Second round, easy, clean sweep Moreno. I mean, that was almost a perfect round. He was just lighting him up. Dude, the left hand could not miss. He'd land the left hand, miss with the right, land with the left again, over and over and over again. That left was tagging him. There it is right there, tagging him. And then the third round, Moreno again just piecing him up over and over and over again, and then he gets dropped. And right when I swear, I was watching it with Coleslaw, and I was like, they started ripping in tight. They were just swinging at each other, and I was like, dude, he can't turn this into a dogfight. That's the only chance Figueiredo has right now to drop him. And literally, as I said, drop him, he knocked him down like mid words. And I was like, fuck, dude, like you can't play with fire. You know what I mean? So like the knockdown probably swayed round 3, right? Outside of the knockdown, it was a pretty easy round to score for Moreno. I thought he was stinging him with the left hand, froze him a couple times, right? He'd land the left, and Figgy would be like, whoa, and he'd point at him, and then he'd land the left again, and it'd freeze him. Like he just kept stunning him with the left.
Stop him dead in his tracks. Whatever he was doing, as soon as he landed, he'd like pause for a second.
Yeah, but then he dropped him, and I was like, fuck, dude. Like, they're going to count that damage. They're going to give him the third. The fourth, very close. I gave it to Moreno. And then the fifth, he dropped him again. And I was like, fuck, dude. Because that round was very close, too. And I thought maybe with the champion bias, they might give it to Moreno at the end because he got dropped, but then came back, and I thought he got the better of the exchange to end the round. And usually that kind of sways judges the end of the round. But it didn't. And I know people are saying robbery and stuff, but it's a super close fight. And truthfully, I have Figueiredo winning it, even though I was heavily rooting for Moreno. So I'm not mad at the decision whatsoever.
It was a really good fight. And with Moreno, he was tagging Figueiredo a lot. Even when you take a look at the strike total, it's overall, very lopsided. Right? It's Moreno. But when you think about the judges and they're sitting there, and maybe a Moreno tags Figgy maybe 3-4 times before Figgy gets one in. But when Figgy gets that one in, and it's a hard shot, and the crowd goes crazy because of, it was a big impact or because it was a knockdown, or I feel like that helps sway the judges a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of something Comer. Like, HLB Comer always coming through. But I also think about your Gane versus Ngannou, right? Where you have Gane, little leg kick, where he's getting more strikes in, but then Ngannou lands one shot, and it's like, whoa. That to me is a lot more than the 4 leg kicks that Gane just landed.
Yeah.
The other thing is Figgy had a really good game plan coming in. He was working that calf kick a lot.
Really well.
And Moreno didn't do much in the first couple rounds to try to negate that, right? And he finally started doing it around the 3rd and 4th. You could tell that it was taking more of a toll on him. But I tweeted it last night, actually. Story of the fight on Twitter. If you don't follow us. But shameless plug real quick. I tweeted I could watch these guys fight every weekend.
Yeah.
It's just such a good matchup.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, like, if they called it a draw, like, the scoring needs to change because, like, that could be a draw.
For sure.
That's a very close fight. It could be a draw. Yeah, it's a close fight. And they're going to have to do 4, right? And I think it's the first time 2 fighters have fought each other 4 times in the UFC.
I was so excited when Figgy said that. Because the first one was
now he's already walking back on it.
But the first one was a draw, right?
Yeah.
Second one, Figgy loses. Third one, Moreno wins. Or vice versa. Sorry, vice versa.
Moreno wins the second. Figgy wins the third.
So
they're 1-1-1.
A fourth one would be a rubber match.
Yeah.
It really would.
Yeah, the draw sets it up, right?
In Mexico? Man. I was thinking that too before Figgy said that.
He's already walking back on all that, though.
Of course.
He said that to the crowd.
Fight, man. It's a tough
Well, he
fight.
says it to the crowd. He's feeling it, right? He's like, fuck it, I'll take this guy on, but
and he's already walking back. He's like, what? These fights are really hard. Like, I don't know.
I'm not making any money. Yeah.
And, the other reason I was really going for Moreno is just that corner of Figgy. Captain America, I can't stand that guy. I don't even know his real name. What's his real name?
Eric something.
So cringy.
Yeah.
Like uber cringy. And he probably does it because we're talking about him right now, right? He's somebody in the corner that we're talking about. We don't talk about very many other folks in the corner.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a Trevor Whitman.
Shout out Francis's corner, by the way. Jesus Christ, they were good.
Fantastic job.
They were so good.
Money, dude.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. But Moreno will be back though.
He'll be back, yeah. I mean, they could fight 10 times and they might be 5-5 against each other.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse. Okay. But at the beginning of it's right here, dude. Just so before I touch or before we start every episode, I touch it. Just
do you?
But in the predictions episode, I said Askar Askarov will end the year with the title. The way I envisioned it in my head was Figueiredo getting it back and Askar Askarov taking it from Figueiredo. So far,
but now you're thinking
fruition.
But that means Figgy's going to have to fight 3 times this year, which is possible, right? He headlines co-mains the first event of the year, first pay-per-view of the year. If they fight again in like 4 months or so, and then leaves a 3rd fight.
Could be.
It happens.
Unless they just don't fight a 4th time. That's also another possibility.
I don't think so. I think the UFC knows. They're going to...
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Dude, it's just, like I said, if they fought 10 times, they might be 5-5.
Yeah.
Like they are the perfect match. It's crazy.
All right.
Shout out Brandon Moreno too. God damn.
Love that guy. Oh, Dallas, by the way, my son, devastated.
Yeah.
That's his favorite fighter.
Yeah.
He calls him the Lego builder.
Hell yeah. That's what he is.
Love it, dude. Love it. All right. Fialho versus Pereira.
Man.
Hey, so
fantastic first round.
Yes, Fialho though, like creepily and like eerily like calm walking out.
And
with the song too.
Man. Oh yeah, dude, that was sick.
Very like Hannibal Lecter, like where he's just very cool, calm, collected, but this fool's insane and he's about to do damage in the inside. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Pereira has continued to impress me over and over and over again in his last few fights.
Because what was the biggest knock all the time? The biggest knock on him was his cardio. Every fight. Tank. Oh yeah, but it's gas tank. He gasses. The third round's boring. Not this time.
How does he make 170?
Yeah, he's massive.
He is huge for 170. He'd be a big middleweight.
Dude, at the very first round when they were still trying to find range and he was picking him apart with his kicks, just keeping him on the outside, I was like, dude, Andre can't touch him from here. He just can't even get close. And here we are with Pereira just tagging him on the outside. But then Fialho came in and did exactly what he needed to do. Fantastic job of cutting the corner off or cutting the cage off. He wasn't just following. Even in the later rounds when he was losing, he was still trapping him really well. And in the first round, he was lighting Pereira up. I mean, he was lighting him up. His combos looked so good up against the cage. And there
couldn't be more like polar opposite fighters. Because in that first round, you saw just how technical and tight Fialho was with his boxing. And then you have Michel Pereira, these giant flying, backflips, Superman punches off the cage and doing all these crazy things and long punches, extending himself.
He landed the Rolling Thunder. He actually
did. He did. It's crazy. Dude, right on the top of the dome.
Yeah.
But
probably hurt his foot.
Probably.
You don't want to hit someone on the top there.
For me, the story was that front kick by Pereira. Because in the second round, he landed it, and you could see it really hurt Fialho.
Yeah, there was a moment where he really hurt him.
And I was like, dude, now's the time. Go at him, attack the body. And Pereira didn't get all crazy, more collected than in the past. Took his time. He did start ripping some hooks to the body after that.
Yeah. Well, and once he noticed that it hurt him, right?
Fialho's hands go from here down to here after that body kick. And every single time he would feint the body kick, Fialho's hands would go down right away.
That's why I was like, with Josh, I was like, dude, throw it up top. Throw it up top. Because he started feinting it. And he'd go, it's like, dude, it looks the same. Just go up high. It looks the same.
Real quick,
go to the body, go high. Yeah.
Straight to the chin would have been money to see.
I was surprised he didn't throw it to the face once outside of like the first round. He landed it once early in the fight and then never threw it back to the face. But he set it up perfectly. He could have got it. But
another knock on Pereira was that he's just too flashy, too much, which was causing his gas tank to drop. Now, look, I try not to complain about the announcers, right? And dude, the trio last night, I'm a big fan of Rogan, DC, and Anik. I know you're not.
I thought they were awful,
but I love it. You know why I love it? Because of the entertainment factor. So sitting in the movie theater last night, watching these fights
by yourself,
by myself. No, but with like another 20 people. I know. Just nobody I knew. They're all my friends now, though. And the amount of laughter that was coming through when some of these announcers would say some of these things, and I was like, this is why. It's pure entertainment for a lot of these folks. But DC kept on pointing out the fact that he was too flashy.
And he's working really well.
There's a point where Joe Rogan was like, yeah, but if it lands and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes. Yeah. And Pereira has learned this perfect balance now where he has some flash, but he picks his perfect moments to do it now.
Yeah. Like, dude, he hears the clacker, Rolling Thunder. He hears the clacker in the second round, wheel kick. Like, he knows when he's doing it. He's definitely
and that comes with time. Dangerous welterweight, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Breaking into the top 15 now?
He should be. I mean, he fought an unranked guy, right? But that's not his fault. Andre took the fight on short notice. But he should be. He's a top 15 fighter, I think, skill-wise. I do want to touch on the commentary because I wasn't going to say anything about it, but so bad in the Moreno fight. It was awful in the Moreno fight. That's what leads to the robbery talks. Everyone's hearing the commentary just glowing about Moreno the whole fight, and it's like he is sick, but like let's try to just talk about what's happening.
And the Mexican crowd showed up.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Showed up.
That was sick.
One thing I was surprised with, though, I continue forgetting that Pereira is only 28 years old. That fool looks like he's pushing 40.
Well, because he's got long fight experience, right? It's similar to Aldo. When you look at Aldo's age, you're like, holy shit, really? Because you think he'd be like 40 years old.
Aldo's 22.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm older than Aldo.
It's crazy.
But yeah, Pereira, I think he's a top 15 talent. I am excited to see Andre again. I think he's going to have some fun fights in the UFC. I'm glad. I hope it's not just a one and done. I'm sure they gave him like a few fights to take this on short notice. And I mean, he brought it in that first round. We'll talk about it later more.
Bruce alluded to it earlier, right?
Yeah. Dude made $12,000 for that. That's before taxes in a state that most fighters don't want to fight in because the taxes are so bad. And he has to pay his training camp, travel, all that shit.
And Governor Newsom.
Well, that's the taxes.
Yeah,
and
state taxes.
I don't know what he's going to be making out the door after paying for his training camp, all that shit. It might be like he might be making like six, huh?
$3-4 grand maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably like 6. I think he probably loses like half of that. Wow. To take a lot of damage from someone like Pereira. That's crazy.
That is.
There's a worse example later on. Yeah, we'll talk about it more. But yeah, it's crazy. Mad respect though for Andre taking. This is a terrible fight to take for your debut, but you got to do it when you get the opportunity, I guess.
Absolutely.
He made a fan
Before
of
that, we had Giles and Morales. You want to just touch on it real quick? We don't have any images, but
yeah, we'll touch on it real quick. Was it Giles after that? I think it was Nurmagomedov versus Stamann.
Oh, you're right. I jumped Nurmagomedov versus Stamann, so we can cover that real quick.
I mean,
because it was a real quick fight.
It was real quick. Not much to talk about because not much was shown. I mean, flawless.
Nurmagomedov, the way that he sunk in that choke so quickly, and you could see it in Stamann's face where he's like, "I'm not getting out of this."
He's like, fuck. Yeah,
I'm not getting out of this.
It's early. I'm not even sweating yet. I can't slip out.
It was so tight either way.
Yeah, head was red immediately. Dude, the striking is so good because it forces you to forget about the grappling threat.
Yeah,
because normally, right, you're fighting someone with that last name, right? Even just the last half of his last name, and you're like, don't get taken down, don't get taken down, don't get taken down. This one, you can't even think about it because he's throwing spinning back fists and fucking lighting you up. And then all of a sudden you have to grapple. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, I don't want to do this with this guy. And then it's over. I mean, people were sleeping on him, I think, because it's been a long time since he's last fought. And he hasn't really had that much exposure. But dude is terrifying. He is terrifying.
He is.
That was a flawless performance.
Fantastic performance. Man, a few words, huh? At the end, during that post-fight interview, and Joe Rogan asked him this long question, and he just says like a couple things. The guy goes, he said, "Thank you." He's very happy. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Let's go. Let's move on. All right, but fantastic performance. Now, before that, we had Giles versus Morales. I believe this was Morales' debut, coming in 12-0. There's a lot of people with their debut yesterday. I want to say it was like 8 fighters debuting, was it?
Yeah, I think that's what happens when all these fighters pull out of fights because of COVID and injuries, all that stuff, and they're like, "Who can we make? We need to fill this pay-per-view."
The story of the night, though, with all these debuts, is that we can't be sleeping on this talent that's outside of the UFC.
No,
because you have people like a Michael Morales that comes in, and he came in 12-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have people like Henry, which we'll cover on later, that came in with, I believe, over 30 fights. So we got some serious talent coming in right now, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, this is working well for the UFC. A little too well for the UFC with how much they're paying some of these guys. But Morales looked good, man. He looked good. And Giles did, too. Giles cracked him early.
He did. He looked good at this weight class also. And one of the questions is always like, how does the chin hold up, going down? But dude, I don't think it was so much the weight cut as it was getting caught clean on the chin.
Yeah,
with that right counter. It was so clean. Well, he hit him with the right counter, and then the follow-up shot with the left. Right, it was beautiful by Morales.
Yeah, square, just squared up on him.
And then Mike Beltran last night, letting things go on a little long, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more too. Holy shit. I thought after his first fight, they might tell him, hey, sit the next few out. And apparently not. But I get it, man. Just bleed,
He's a staple in CSAC, man. They're not going to pull him out. The California State Athletic Commission, dude. He's been there for a hot minute. So,
well, on the first fight, I was like, oh yeah, that's in California. I wonder if Beltran's reffing. And then he reffed his first fight, and I was like, I still don't know if Beltran's reffing.
Plus, I think he's a part of the Hell's Angels, so I'm pretty sure they can't pull him out.
Like, no,
some shit will go down. Some shit will go down. All right. Before that, we had Henry versus Barcelos.
This could have won fight of the night.
It was a fantastic fight.
Figueiredo versus Moreno, maybe more deserving, but I mean, these guys probably could use the extra 50 grand, and it was a crazy pace they put on.
And my mistake, I said that he came in with 30 fights, but he came in with 26 fights.
Yeah, damn near, right? Barcelos, the biggest betting favorite on the card, because Barcelos has looked incredible throughout his career. He just has so many setbacks all the time. It's so hard to get him actually in there. But dude, Henry came out with a crazy game plan. I mean, the game plan was just to keep throwing and just tire him out, and just his head movement is fantastic. His head movement is so goddamn good. He's rolling with a lot of punches. Yeah, he's rolling with these shots. Barcelos did a fantastic job though of while he was rolling, he wouldn't just give up on his combo, and he'd follow up with his combo, and usually the last shot of the combo would actually land pretty nice on Henry. And in that first round, the first half of the fight, or the first half of the first round, I was like, this is gonna be a long night for Henry. And then he just did not slow down, and as Barcelos did start slowing down, he just kept on cracking. Holy shit, man. And it was cool seeing Josh Barnett.
This was one of those fights where I don't remember which announcer said it, but they're like, man, they didn't tell him that he was supposed to lose. With the way that the odds are. Mm-hmm. And I love how for every single time Henry got hit, he responded. Every single time. Yeah.
You don't get a free one.
He didn't back down. He kept on moving forward. Like you said, he continued throwing shots. And even when he get caught clean, if he did get caught clean, he bounced right back with the left and the right. And it was awesome.
It was exhausting. Just watching
especially for Barcelos.
Shit. Yeah. And then the way they end the fight, they just throw down. Like, dude, this fight was fucking awesome, man. It sucks because, it doesn't suck. They put on a fantastic performance. I think they deserved some extra money on this one.
For sure.
This was my fight of the night, honestly. It doesn't have like the hype around it like a championship fight does, but that shouldn't matter when we're talking about bonuses.
They were talking about how Barcelos might be breaking into the top 15, and then you have Victor Henry coming in that outworks Barcelos. So where does Henry land, right? It's exciting to see what his next couple fights are going to look like.
Dude,
now I'm really looking forward to more Victor Henry. And then he came in the weigh-ins looking like a fresher, younger Clay Guida, bouncing around. His hair's all over the place. And I'm like, oh, I like this guy. Yeah.
I thought Josh Barnett did a fantastic job too in the corner. Josh Barnett's so fucking smart. He's been in the game for so long that like I'm sure they were coming into this and with the feeling like we know some shit that no one else does. It's like when TJ fought Barao, and all of a sudden he had a whole new style with Dwayne. And Dwayne, they were like, they sat down with Rogan right at lunch before that fight. That same day, and we're like, yeah, like we got some shit that people aren't ready for. And I'm sure Barnett and Henry had the same kind of idea going into this, just so confident. So because what people aren't going to realize is Henry, not a striker, he's a grappler, he's a wrestler. So he's got that in his back pocket. When the going does get tough and I need to divert, I'm going to do this and switch my game plan and probably win with the wrestling. Didn't need to. That's how good he is. I think we're going to see a lot of really good things from Victor Henry because we didn't even have to see his grappling.
We did not. No, not needed.
And that's his best facet.
I like it. All right. Anything else on that fight?
No. What a great fight, though. Jesus Christ.
All right. Before that, we had Maddalena versus Rodriguez.
I was telling everybody, get ready for Della. Here he comes. He's so good, dude. He was so good. And shout out Pete Rodriguez. He was landing his shots early in the fight. He came in 4-0, I think.
Was
this both of their debut? Hey, not for Della.
For Pete.
Yeah. Both of them were making their debut in this one. But I didn't know much about Pete Rodriguez coming into this, but when I saw like his record, I was like, oh, they're giving Della somebody to like make a statement on and like build the hype on Della. But dude did not he didn't just accept his fate on that. He was landing really good combos to the body on Della early. It just like wasn't phasing him at all though.
Yeah, he didn't move his head very much. Opposite from Henry. Just a straightforward target, leaving his chin up for Della.
Dude, in that jab, oh my god, it was just so stiff and just straight to the nose over and over and over again. It's like, dude, you better knock him out quick because this is Money in the Bank. This is not going to end well.
Well, with Della, and then Della was really quick, had good movement. You didn't even know where his nose was going to go. Because, like, part of his nose is pointing this way, and then the top of the nose is pointing the other way. Dude, his game is insane.
Flat. It's flat.
Boy has gotten his nose broken a few times, you could tell. Yeah. But just a fantastic performance, man. And, dude, what sucks is Rodriguez has a tattoo on the side of his head that says Libre. Do you know what that means in Spanish, Will?
No.
Free. And Della just, like, freed his soul, dude.
That's a reach.
I was like, rough, dude.
Rough.
Yeah, my arm was sore after that one, huh?
Yeah. But once Della threw the 2 behind the jab, because it was like jab, 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 and it was landing every time. It was like, where's the 2? Where's the 2? And then it was like the jab, pause, 2. And it was like, oh, shit. Once he landed that 2, it was like, damn.
Rodriguez got busted up. He got busted up.
Yeah, he really did. And dude, like HLB Comer said, so smooth. Just so aware of his range, knowing what to throw, when to throw it, landing it every single time. And the stoppage was it was a good stoppage, I guess.
Yeah. I liked it. It was a good stoppage. Yeah, it wasn't going to go anywhere, really.
Yeah.
And then you can even see it on Rodriguez's face when he was down on his ass, and he's like, is this going to get stopped? No. And like comes up a little bit more, And then they stopped it shortly after that. Yeah. But he just didn't want any more of that anymore after that knockdown. Dude. It was rough. It was rough for Rodriguez.
I was surprised Della wasn't making his debut on UFC 271. They're going to have a bunch of like New Zealand, Australia guys on that card.
He might be on that card too.
He might. I'm telling you, dude. Have you watched like his like Australia like regional fights?
No, I got to go back and watch them. Are they pretty good?
Dude, there was one, I forgot who it was against, but he caught a body kick and just like walks him over to the fence as he's like hopping back, and he just keeps walking and then throws the elbow over the top. But it's so cold and calculated and just completely drops him with the elbow. It's so gnarly. He's got a ton of fun regional fights.
You know what, Will? No, I didn't watch any freaking Australian fights, dude. We already covered this a couple weeks ago.
Hey, man. You gotta go. You gotta broaden the horizon.
I think it was HOB last time. I was like, dude, you lost me. When you're talking about a lot of these Japanese fighters. All right. Before that, we had Frevola, Steamroller Frevola versus Valdéz.
Holy shit!
That first round.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Valdéz again. I'll get that out of the way. I picked Valdéz in this one. Frevola is improving tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
He looked so good. He was getting caught early, but it just wasn't phasing him whatsoever. Valdéz landed that step-in knee straight to the chin at like both standing, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is the Valdéz that I was looking for right here." Frevola just wasn't taking it, and eventually started landing his shots.
Well, I think the difference though was that they were both down for a good scrap, but one of the two decided to sprinkle in a little defense, and that was Frevola.
Yeah,
he just slipped one or two more shots. Right, especially when Valdéz was up against the cage and he'd respond with a big looping right hook or something. And Frevola did just enough to get out of the way and just ping, ping, couple more shots right to the dome. But look at that shot there.
It would have been nice if they had a ref in this fight.
This is where it started for Beltran. But dude, Valdéz, all heart, man.
We also skipped the Gravely fight, right?
Oh yeah.
But
it was a fight.
It happened. But yeah.
But Valdéz, just going straight at Frevola, hands down, just wanted a street fight. And he caught him a few times, but
I was about to say this.
Capitalized too much.
Has there ever been someone who got knocked down? It's the official tally is 4. I actually thought it was 5 watching it live, but the official UFC stats say 4 knockdowns in the first round. Has that ever happened before?
Not that I can recall.
I mean, I think it was the 3rd knockdown when he dropped, and it was almost like the when you drop onto yourself and your knee bends, your foot gets stuck under you. Yeah. Once that one happened, just call it. Just call it.
Yeah.
I think also Valdéz in this one, it's his UFC debut. Tough go against someone like Frevola. Took probably permanent damage in this fight for $10,000.
Oh.
That's fucking really bad. I thought the minimum was 12. I thought they bumped the minimum to 12. Valdéz got 10, which is probably more like 3 or 4 after taxes, after camp, after all that shit. That's dude, honestly, when I saw the payouts, that we'll pull up the payouts after this, it legit kind of made me feel uneasy reading it. It's pretty bad when you look at we'll talk about it more, but it made me kind of uncomfortable in a weird way. I didn't think that I would. But yeah, on a lighter note, the Just Bleed gods were in attendance last night.
They were satisfied for the sacrifice.
Yeah. They're like
Beltran just standing there like
yeah, just Beltran might be one of the Just Bleed gods. With that facial hair, he might be one of the gods. I'm playing God of War right now. They just released it on PC. And it's like all like the Viking gods and shit. Beltran might be. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, very appropriate. I told Katie because she's been watching me play it, right? And Figueiredo's walking out, and I was like, "You see his hair?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You see his nickname?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You know what that translates to?" And she's like, "What?" I was like, "God of War." And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, look at his hair again." And she was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right. Before that, we had Demopoulos. Anonymous? Demopoulos?
Damn you! Give him all the easy ones.
One of the best
shout out Rogan for just absolutely butchering her name in the weigh-ins.
And not
Vanessa Detapata. It's so bad, dude.
But she went up against Silvana Gomez Juárez, which was also from Moreno's camp, I believe. Hey, rough night for that camp, huh?
Yeah.
Rough night.
I had Juárez going into this, and I was very excited when she landed the first shot of the fight, and I was like, "That's a wrap."
Shot. That right hand cracked her. Look at that. Right, the first on time, one that landed. Casual.
Yeah, the first one that landed. I mean, I'll go out and say this. I don't like to disrespect any fighters because they do things that I would never do. All this shit, right? I am very, very much not a fan of Vanessa. I think she. This is going to sound harsh, but I think she's bad for the sport. That's how much I don't like her. Yeah, I cannot.
Look at that shot too that Juárez landed.
When she dropped her and she's landing those shots from when she stacked her and she's landing those shots, Demo was just taking them, and I was like, call it. She recovered. Props to her. She recovered. She got the armbar. Fantastic win for Vanessa. But fucking hell, man, I can't stand her.
Okay, so why do you think she's so bad for the sport?
I think her attitude is just like, dude, the way at the weigh-ins, she when she took her shirt off and she's like flows her hair all crazy, and then she gets on the scale, gets off the scale, she does that, she drops to the splits, and it's just like super cringy. And then after the fight, she once Joe walks in, she freaks out to see Joe Rogan, the god Joe Rogan, and she's like, "Oh my God, Joe Rogan!" She's like freaking out, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is happening?
So over the top?
Just so over the top, dude. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a bad look in my opinion, and like, I don't know.
Well, I think salty. She's representing for strippers everywhere.
Yeah,
representing for strippers everywhere. She talked about that in the post-fight press conference where she just stopped dancing about 8 weeks ago to focus fully on fighting.
Crimea River.
So hey, dude, let her represent.
Hey, she can represent, but like fucking hell, man, that shit. I don't know. She just rubs me the wrong way, and you know me, dude. I don't like to talk shit about fighters. I just, for some reason, I just cannot get behind her.
No. I get it. I get where you're coming from. There's this fighter in Bellator. I can't remember her name. Loretta?
Valerie Laredo, yeah.
Valerie Laredo. Where I kind of feel the same way. You know, where dude, very attractive young girl, very attractive. But you know, when you're like twerking and stuff in the octagon and doing all these things after the win, it is what it is. You know,
it is what it is. For me, it's not about like the sexuality of it. It's the over the top, the oh my god, it's Joe Rogan. It's like, did you think he wasn't going to be here? You know, like I don't know. The theatrics there, I just don't like.
Well, no, dude, and that's the thing, right? It's same for Valerie Laredo. Super hot girl, but like just twerking.
That's 100% me right now. I get it. I know I'm salty as hell about it.
That's so funny. Mr. Grumpy Pants says HLB. I know, right? He's gonna be like, dude, what the hell? You guys just probably would love her if she was fighting in Japan.
Oh, it's classic.
Hey, so far, unanimous
that.
decision for HLB on today's episode. That is hilarious. All right. Before that, we had Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Kay Hansen. Kay Hansen, I believe, going up to flyweight from strawweight. This was her debut in that weight class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she came out with a couple solid shots, man. But she had such a hard time there's a few times where she used a double jab in the first that to get in closer, which seemed to work. But Jasudavicius made some adjustments, man. You know, used her range really well. Yeah, was it in the third where she had that takedown?
The third was when Kay took her down and was she like lit her up on the feet the whole round.
Yeah. But too little, too late, huh?
Too little, too late. I would like to see a change in the scoring, though. I don't know. Outside of the takedown in the first, the actual grappling, I know it's never going to happen the way the scoring works. It's never going to change it. But I had Kay in my opinion, Kay's winning the fight when she has her in her guard, especially in the first. The second round, not so much. Jasmine definitely won the second round with the top game, but in the first round, Jasmine did pretty much nothing in her guard the entire time. Meanwhile, Kay's landing elbows, back fists. She's threatening with submissions, threatening with sweeps. That should count more than just being on top of somebody, especially in guard. Guard should be a neutral position, in my opinion. It's never going to happen. So, like, I'm not mad at the scorecards, but I do think the first round, Kay was definitely more active in her guard. She was more offensive. And in the third, she won the third round. The left hand was money. That left hook that Kay was landing in the third. That being said, I think Jasmine she has a very bright future in the sport. She's very high level.
Another debut, right?
Another debut. I think she's really high level. She looked really, really good. I would like to see her more active on top, though, if I had to nitpick.
But it was a good way to start.
Maybe
off
I'm just
tonight.
grumpy since just talking about the last fight. I'm just grumpy pants. Fuck, dude.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I know, man. Just don't let Demopoulos get to you.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, and that's one of the things I was thinking too. Like Joe Rogan, you know me. I'm a Rogan truther.
Yeah.
I love Joe Rogan. He's like my favorite person ever to listen to. But he might be becoming too big to do these post-fight interviews, and to no fault of his own.
It gets in the way of the interview. Yeah,
it does. It's getting to the point where like almost every fighter now is like, "Oh my god."
Well, even Victor Henry. Even Victor Henry's like, first time I met Joe Rogan, he doesn't even remember it. He's like, I was over in wherever I was, 10th Planet, blah blah blah, and Rogan saw me, and I met him and Eddie Bravo, and he doesn't know me. I shook his hand in the elevator or some shit, and now I'm getting to meet him here. It's amazing. We don't really need that in the post-fight interview, right?
Yeah,
it's cool. It's a cool story. It really is.
Hey, I love how Rich had to zoom in on you and just put Mr. Grumpy Pants.
As I get up on my soapbox.
That is fantastic. But man, what a fun night of fights. A good way to kick off the first pay-per-view of the year with the two baddest men on the planet. Ngannou surprised a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Gane showed that he has the ability to, maintain the distance against an Ngannou.
Gane proved what everybody thought was going to happen, right? He proved that, I am the more technical striker. I can outclass him on the feet. But then Francis said, this isn't kickboxing.
Yep.
Which nobody expected.
Out of everybody, Francis is the one that said that. Figgy showed that he can come in disciplined, come in under 125, and put on another great performance. He's still hungry. And I think that camp showed, hey, dude, we got some stuff going on in the works.
I think, and a lot of people, I think, had that fight as like a foregone conclusion, right? First fight is a draw. Second fight, Moreno is a clean sweep, right? Drops him in the first, chokes him out in the second, I think. So and this fight technically wasn't even supposed to happen, right? This was supposed to be Moreno versus Pantoja. So I think a lot of people just expected Moreno to beat him again easily. Figueiredo proved that, like, dude, hey, I'm a former champ, dude. Is he the first flyweight to win the belt twice?
Maybe.
He's got to be, right? Demetrius never lost it until he lost to Cejudo, but he never got it back. Right? Cejudo defended it, but never lost it. He left. Figueiredo got it, right?
Yeah.
Lost it and then got it back. So I think he's the first 2-time flyweight champ.
Oh, good for him.
That's cool.
Dos de guerra, dude.
Yeah.
Dos de guerra. All right. Moment of silence.
It's a long one.
It is.
There's been more canceled fights this year. We're only in January. There's been more canceled fights this year than there have been fights. Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson was supposed to be on this card. They got rescheduled. Greg Hardy was supposed to fight Alexei Olenek. That got canceled. So then Greg Hardy gets Sergey Spivak. Then Greg Hardy destroys his thumb, probably beating up his girlfriend or something. I don't know. And then so he has to pull out. Adesanya versus Whitaker was supposed to be on this card originally, but that got rescheduled, obviously, to 271. And Della was supposed to fight Worley Alves. Probably a better fight.
That would have been a really fun fight.
That would have been better, but it doesn't happen, right? Grasso was supposed to fight Arujo, which kind of sucks because I think Grasso is really coming together. Obviously, she was supposed to be on this card because they were doing like a whole like Mexico thing, right? Would have been cool. Would have been cool to see her in LA. Then we have some of the bigger ones that happened last minute. Evloev was supposed to fight Topuria. Would have been a monster fight between two guys that are, I don't know if they're even ranked. No, they're probably ranked, right? But two up-and-comers that people hold in really high regard. Evloev gets COVID. He has to withdraw. Topuria talks a bunch of shit about him being a bitch, pulling out, all this stuff. Charles Jourdain just fought. He steps up, takes the fight. That's crazy. Probably not a good fight to take on short notice against Topuria, because that's when you probably want a full camp on. Props to Jourdain. Comes in, makes weight. But Topuria doesn't. After talking all that shit to Evloev, he can't make weight. They pull him off the card. So that fight doesn't happen. And then the one that I was really looking forward to was Rodolfo Vieira versus Wellington Turman. I think Vieira, I don't think they've said why he had to pull out, but he pulled out like on Friday. Would have been a fun one to add. The card was really good. With all those cancellations, the card was still pretty crazy.
It was. And, nice night of debuts.
Well, that's what happens, right? You get a ton of debuts when all these fights get canceled and people pull out. You have to fill them with people who are willing to take the fights on short notice. And those are usually guys who are like, give me a contract. I'll take this fight on short notice.
We saw what we have with Jasudavicius. We saw what we have with Juárez, even though she lost, dude. She's packing a lot of power at strawweight. Holy smokes. We saw what we have in Valdéz. There's
Della.
just Maddalena, Henry, Morales. Dude, just bright futures here. And Andre Fialho. No disrespect. My bad.
Yeah. I'm pretty high on him, honestly. I think that's a tough debut to make, man. Most people lose their debut. So I don't really hold the loss in high regard or like in much stock or with much stock on a debut loss. But he impressed me, especially in that first round. I mean, he solved the puzzle early. I think he just didn't have it. Maybe it's because he took it on short notice and he wasn't fully prepared for
I still think
it
was that body kick.
I mean, yeah, that definitely hurt him.
That front kick.
Definitely
all right. You had some news, Will?
Oh yeah, I mean it's not like or real quick too. Figueiredo versus Moreno got fight of the night. Nurmagomedov got performance of the night, and Demo got an extra 50 grand too for her performance, her armbar. The other thing that
you were probably so salty about that one too.
Nah,
salty. I mean, don't give her 50K.
That's the one thing I will give her credit. That was a fantastic performance. I mean, she got caught. She was out. She says she remembers waking up and she was in her guard. She was out. And to get an armbar in that kind of a situation, I mean, there's nothing but respect for the performance. It's just a character.
HOB, though, probably would love her if she was fighting in Japan. It's so funny. Funny. All right.
But since it was in California, every card, there's always like these posts about the fighter pay and stuff. And then if you scroll to the bottom, it's like, these are estimates based off previous disclosed payouts, because they don't disclose the payouts anymore. So normally all those salaries that you see, it's all bullshit. It's all guessing based off the last time they disclosed the pay, which was either the last time they were in California or the last time they fought before they started non-disclosure. And that was like 2 years ago now. So those are all horseshit. It's complete guesses. And unless a fighter tells you how much they got paid or they fought in California, it's all bullshit. But this one was in California, so we get to see. And there's a lot of talk about fighter pay, right? Thanks, California. Thanks, Gavin Newsom. There's a lot of fighter pay talk, right? Because of Francis, specifically with this card. Francis made $600,000 for this fight. Sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to heavyweight title fights in boxing, not at all.
And pay-per-view points?
And pay-per-view. This is before pay-per-view points.
Yeah, so he'll probably break a mil, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely. But that's still pretty low. Francis, he gets 600,000, no win bonus, right? Ciryl got 500,000, not bad for someone who just burst onto the scene.
Yep.
Figueiredo gets 150,000 for a title fight, kind of crazy. Moreno only gets 200,000. This is the champion.
Wow.
Pretty wild. Pereira got 1,000 or 100,000, right? But really it was 50-50. He gets 50,000 for show, 50,000 for win. Andre Fialho gets $12,000 to fight Pereira on a pay-per-view card for his UFC debut. He only gets 12 grand. Again, this is before taxes, before fighter, like paying your coaches, all that shit. And that's crazy. Nurmagomedov gets 50 grand because he got a win. So he's 25 to show, 25 to win. Stamann making a good 65K. That's kind of surprising to me. Good for him. I wonder if that would have been, he would have broken six figures if he won. I
don't know, because usually, no, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Morales got 20K because he won, meaning he signed a $10,000 deal, which is fucking crazy. $10,000 to fight in the UFC. Giles made 45. Henry got 40. So he was on a 20-20, probably. That's someone who would be fighting for 12 or 10 if it probably weren't for Josh Barnett. That probably helps him get paid a little bit if he get that guidance. Barcelos got 29,000. Kind of a weird contract there. 29 is such a rant, like just do 30, you know. Jack Della got 10-10, which is crazy to me. I think the UFC he should be paid more. I mean, they all should be, but he got paid less than Pete. If he lost that fight, he would have got. I mean, he's on a $10,000 contract. That's crazy. Pete got 12. Gravely got 22 and 22 because he won. Oliveira got 10 grand. Again, I thought the minimum was 12 or 14, but I guess not. This is the big one. Valdéz got $10,000 to take that beating from Frevola. Like that's almost criminal.
That's rough.
That's almost criminal. That's something you would see maybe in like a regional fight promotion. That's insane to me. $10,000 and he got knocked down. They say 4 times, but like HLB Comer said, I think it was closer to 6. He took life-changing damage probably on the back end of his life for $10,000, and that's before taxes. In a state notorious for cutting a ton out for taxes, before paying your coaches, before paying for travel, all that shit. I mean, is it even worth? Dana says it's a career, it's an opportunity, not a career. Is it even an opportunity? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
The total payout for this
demo
entire
got
card.
what, 74?
Yeah, 74 before taxes. But it's crazy because so the total payout was like 1.8 million for the entire card. Like, dude, that's crazy. The pay-per-views alone at 80 bucks a pop. If they're doing what is it, 20, if let's say conservatively, if they sold 250,000 pay-per-views, right? People were talking about how card wasn't stacked, all this stuff. So let's be conservative and say they sold 250, and that's super conservative. I'm sure it was closer to like 350, 400 maybe. That is, so that's 20 million just in pay-per-view buys. If it did 250, which I'm sure it did more. And that's just in America. They don't sell pay-per-views in the UK. They're on BT Sports, so they have TV broadcasting distribution rights. For a bunch of most countries, they have that, which they're making a shit ton of money. They don't have to worry about pay-per-view buys, all that shit. That doesn't include the gate. It was a sold-out arena in LA. Tickets, the cheapest tickets that Josh was trying to go to this, the cheapest tickets he could find was the very back row, and it was $210 per ticket. I know those floor seats they can go for like up to $4,000. And it was sold out. And these guys made 1.8 million.
Wow. That's crazy.
Dude, it needs to change, dude. It's bad. That's crazy. Like I said, when I saw that, that made me feel like uneasy, bro.
Like dirty for watching it or what?
Kinda.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And everyone's focused on Francis making 600,000. He should be making more. But dude, Valdéz made 10 grand to get his ass beat. In the NFL of fighting, in the MLB of fighting. That's crazy, man. I know that's long-winded and no one wants to hear that kind of shit, right? Probably. I don't know. But that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, dude. You know, it's
I mean, there's really nothing else to say, right? Like we can call it horseshit.
Before we started, and I think MLB was 580,000 minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
NBA was 920,000 minimum. We had the NFL where the practice squatters. Is that even a way to call it? Practice squatters? The athletes on the practice squad. So not even like officially a part of the main roster are breaking six figures, dude. 165,000 for 18 weeks worth of work.
Yeah.
So something has to change. Now, at the same time, I try to look at it as it's a little bit of a different business, man. You know,
it's definitely a different business model. Hard to compare with like MLB and shit like that, for sure.
It is. And I think about, like, let's say ESPN boxing, where they have two good people in the main event, and then everybody else is nobody you've ever heard of. How much do they get paid?
Not a lot. But when someone when Tyson Fury fought Wilder the third time, Fury made 30 million and Wilder made 20.
Let me ask you this: if Ngannou were to have made, let's say, 20 million, but everybody else sticks with the 10,000, 12,000, would you be happy then?
It's still not right. But here's what I'm saying: if they're paying two fighters 50 million, the UFC paid an entire card 1.8.
Yeah, average boxer makes $40,060 a year.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, but it's crazy that the UFC can say we had a record year for the past 5 years. Fighter paid 10 grand.
Yeah,
10. That's like, I mean, you have to go home and start and go back to your job on Monday, and probably not even on Monday. You're probably working weekends. Like,
yeah, and you know what? If you're Valdéz, probably can't go back to your job on Monday because you got to recover.
Dude, it's gonna be tough for a man. And
I know he might be out of work for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and he might have lingering effects for the next few months.
Man, it's rough.
And the UFC doesn't give you health insurance. They'll cover fight injuries, but long-term stuff, I don't know how that goes.
Well, that's why a lot of fighters go into fights with injuries, because they go into the fight with injury and then they say, "Hey, I just got injured during this fight, so the UFC can cover it."
Francis shouldn't have. He talked about the torn MCL and the damaged ACL. He shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, he just kept that quiet and said that happened in the first round. Get that paid for, because now it doesn't get paid. He has to pay for that.
Rough. All right, man. Do we have anything else for this week?
What a downer episode, right?
I know, dude. What We didn't want it to go this way.
Fucking California. Keep that shit secret. Let me be ignorant about it.
Between you talking about Demopoulos and Henry's Joe Rogan story and the fighter pay, maybe it's not just Dana that's salty. You know what? We'll salty.
It's me too for sure. It's me too for sure. But so what is it? Is it next week or is it we have a weekend off again for fighting?
Do we really?
For UFC fights, I think. The next card, it looks like it's the February 5th card, Hermanson versus Strickland.
Oh, snaps. It's going to be a while then, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of interviews. We have a couple of interviews lined up. Yeah. So even if it's not us covering fights, we should have some type of interview up probably then next Sunday or throughout the week. We just recently had that interview pop up again with Eric Ghost Pepper Gonzalez. Dude, what a hilarious guy, by the way.
Yeah, that was a fun episode, man. Watching the street fights, that was hilarious.
Down to earth and cracks me up. Hope everybody enjoyed that one. We should have, a couple more interviews with some current fighters coming up here pretty soon. An interview lined up with the former UFC bantamweight top contender. That should be coming up here pretty soon as well. But a lot of good stuff here in the works.
Definitely. That card, too, with Hermanson versus Strickland is kind of cool. It's got Soriano versus Nick Maximov. Nick Maximov, the boxer that transitioned with the Diaz brothers. He had his UFC debut not that long ago, undefeated 7-0. It's a fun card. But yeah, we got some time before that. Ooh, Brian Battle's on it. Hell yeah. Oh. Sakvat Rachmanov. Okay.
Hakeem Dawodu. Julian Erosa. Miles Johnson. Yeah. Hey, dude, this is actually a pretty damn good card.
That's a fun one.
It is a
very
Philip Rowe,
too. I like Philip Rowe. Jason Witt. Yeah, that's
Rachmanov.
So I said Sakvat Rachmanov.
Dude, Smile Sam.
Yeah. Damn.
All right.
Against Phil Haas. Jesus Christ. Hey,
and we have
easy fights.
We have Alexis Davis versus Stolyarenko. Stolyarenko, was she the one that collapsed when weighing in?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
All right, so Will's okay with collapsing on the weigh-in. Just make sure you don't wave your hair around and do any splits or anything like that.
Yeah, I wasn't okay with that either. Come on.
All right. Do you have anything else for this week?
No. Thank you guys for bearing with my fucking saltiness.
All right.
Please I'll try to keep it more upbeat from now on.
Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, pretty much anywhere you can find our podcast. Then social media, Will.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on Instagram and Twitter, and maybe TikTok in the future.
Yeah, if I figure out how to use TikTok, maybe we can ask Demopoulos for some advice on that.
Sure she knows.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening to another week of Story of the Fight.
That's a little bit of a lie.